I'm not gonna lie, the story, like, this is why I had such a transformational experience reading the Bible all the way through last year, because it was just like, why have I never sat down and read this whole thing? Like, it is really good. It starts getting good. So Genesis 29. Then Jacob went on his way and came to the land of the people of the east near Haran. As he looked, he saw a well in the field and 3 flocks of sheep lying there, resting beside it, because the flocks were watered from that well. Now the stone on the mouth of the well that covered and protected it was large, and when all the flocks were gathered there, the shepherds would roll the stone from the mouth of that well, water the sheep, and afterward replace the stone on the mouth of the well. Jacob said to them, "My brothers, where are you from?" And they said, "We are from Haran." So he said to them, "Do you know Laban, the grandson of Nahor, Abraham's mother?" And they replied, "We know him." And he asked them, "Is it well with him?" And they said, "He is doing well. Look, here comes his daughter Rachel with the sheep." Jacob said, "Look at the sun. The sun is still high overhead. It is a long time before the flocks need to be gathered in their folds for the night. Water the sheep and go and return them to their pasture." But they said, "We cannot leave until all the flocks are gathered and the shepherds roll the stone from the mouth of the well. Then we will water the sheep." While he was still speaking with them, Rachel came with her father's sheep, for she was a shepherdess. When Jacob saw his cousin Rachel, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and Laban's sheep, he came up and rolled the stone away from the mouth of the well and watered the flock of Laban his uncle. Then Jacob kissed Rachel in greeting, and he raised his voice and wept. Jacob told Rachel he was her father's relative, Rebekah's son, and she ran and told her father. When Laban heard of the arrival of Jacob, his sister's son, he ran to meet him, and embraced and kissed him, and brought him to his house. Then he told Laban all these things. Then Laban said to him, "You are my bone and my flesh." And Jacob stayed with him a month. Then Laban said to Jacob, "Just because you are my relative, should you work for me for nothing? Tell me, what should your wages be?" Now Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the older was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah's eyes were weak, but Rachel was beautiful in form and appearance. Jacob loved Rachel, so he said, "I will serve you as a hired workman for 7 years in return for the privilege of marrying Rachel, your younger daughter." Laban said, "It is better that I give her in marriage to you than give her to another man. Stay and work with me." So Jacob served Laban for 7 years for the right to marry Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him for his love for her. Oh, ain't that sweet? Finally, Jacob said to Laban, "Give me my wife, for my time of service is completed, so that I may take her to me as my wife." So Laban gathered together all the men of the place and prepared a wedding feast with wine. But in the evening he took Leah his daughter and brought her to Jacob, and Jacob went in to consummate the marriage with her. Laban also gave Zilpah his maid to his daughter as Leah as a maid. But in the morning, when Jacob awoke, it was Leah who was with him, and he said to Laban, "What is this that you have done to me? Did I not work for you for 7 years for Rachel? Why have you deceived and betrayed me like this?" Funny, you should be asking. But Laban only said, "It is not the tradition here to give the younger daughter in marriage before the older. Finish the week of the wedding feast for Leah, then we will give you Rachel also, and in return you shall work for me for 7 more years." So Jacob complied and fulfilled Leah's week of celebration. Then Laban gave him his daughter Rachel as his second wife. Laban also gave Bilhah his maid to his daughter Rachel as a maid. So Jacob consummated his marriage and lived with Rachel as his wife. And he loved Rachel more than Leah, and he served with Laban for another 7 years. Now when the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he made her able to bear children, but Rachel was barren. Leah conceived and gave birth to a son, named him Reuben. See, a son. For she said, "Because the Lord has seen my humiliation and suffering, now my husband will love me, since I have given him a son." Then she conceived again and gave birth to a son, and said, "Because the Lord heard that I am unloved, he has given me this son also." So she named him Simeon, or God hears. She conceived again and gave birth to a son, and said, "Now this time my husband will become attached to me as a companion, for I have given him 3 sons. Therefore he was named Levi. Again she conceived and gave birth to a 4th son, and she said, "Now I will praise the Lord." So she named him Judah. Then for a time she stopped bearing children. Genesis 30. When Rachel saw that she conceived no children for Jacob, she envied her sister and said to Jacob, "Give me children, or else I will die." Then Jacob became furious with Rachel, and he said, "Am I in the place of God, who has denied you children?" She said, "Here, take my maid Bilhah and go into her, and when the baby comes, she shall deliver it while sitting on my knees, so that by her I may also have children to count as my own." So she gave him Bilhah, her maid, as a secondary wife, and Jacob went into her. Bilhah conceived and gave birth to a son for Jacob. Then Rachel said, "God has judged and vindicated me, and has heard my plea, and has given me a son through my maid." So she named him Dan, or he judged. Bilhah, who was Rachel's maid, conceived again and gave birth to a second son for Jacob. So Rachel said, "With mighty wrestlings and prayers to God, I have struggled with my sister and have prevailed." So she named him Naphtali, or my wrestlings. When Leah saw that she had stopped bearing children, she took Zilpah, her maid, and gave her to Jacob as a secondary wife. Zilpah, Leah's maid, gave birth to a son for Jacob. Then Leah said, "How fortunate." So she named him Gad, or good fortune. Zilpah, Leah's maid, gave birth to a second son for Jacob. Then Leah said, "I am happy, for women will call me happy." So she named him Asher, or happy. Now at that time of wheat harvest, Reuben, who was the eldest child, went and found some mandrakes in the field and brought them to his mother Leah. Then Rachel said to Leah, "Please give me some of your son's mandrakes." But Leah answered, "Is it a small thing that you have taken my husband? Would you take away my son's mandrakes also?" So Rachel said, "Jacob shall sleep with you tonight in exchange for your son's mandrakes." When Jacob came in from the field in the evening, Leah went out to meet him and said, "You must sleep with me tonight, for I have in fact hired you with my son's mandrakes." So he slept with her that night. God listened and answered the prayer of Leah, and she conceived and gave birth to a fifth son for Jacob. Then Leah said, "God has given me my reward, because I have given my maid to my husband." So she named him Issachar. Leah conceived again and gave birth to a sixth son for Jacob. Then Leah said, "God has endowed me with a good marriage gift for my husband. Now he will live with me, regarding me with honor as his wife, because I have given birth to six sons." So she named him Zebulun. Afterwards she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Then God remembered the prayers of Rachel, and God thought of her and opened her womb so that she would conceive. So she conceived and gave birth to a son, and she said, "God has taken away my disgrace and humiliation." She named him Joseph, may he add, and said, "May the Lord add to me another son." Now when Rachel had given birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, "Send me away, that I may go back to my own place and to my own country. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you, and let me go, for you know the work which I have done for you." But Laban said to him, "If I have found favor in your sight, stay with me, for I have learned from the omens in divination and by experience that the Lord has blessed me because of you." He said, "Name your wages, and I will give it to you." Jacob answered him, "You know how I have served you, and how your possessions, your cattle and sheep and goats have fared with me. For you had little before I came, and it has increased and multiplied abundantly, and the Lord has favored you with blessings wherever I turn. But now, when shall I provide for my own household?" Laban asked, "What shall I give you?" Jacob replied, "You shall not give me anything, but if you will do this one thing for me, which I now propose, I will again pasture and keep your flock. Let me pass through your entire flock today, removing from it every speckled and spotted sheep, and every dark or black one among the lambs, and spotted and speckled among the goats, and those shall be my wages. So my honesty will be evident for me later, when you come for an accounting concerning my wages. Every one that is not speckled and spotted among the goats, and the dark among the young lambs, if found with me, shall be considered stolen." And Laban said, "Good, let it be done as you say." So on that same day, Laban secretly removed the male goats that were streaked and spotted, and all the female goats that were speckled and spotted, every one with white on it, and all the dark ones among the sheep, and put them in the care of his sons. He put a distance of 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob was then left in the rest of Laban's flock. Then Jacob took branches of fresh poplar and almond and plane trees, and peeled white stripes in them, exposing the white in the branches. Then he set the branches which he had peeled in front of the flocks in the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink, and they mated and conceived when they came to drink. So the flocks mated and conceived by the branches, and the flocks gave birth to streaked and speckled spotted offspring. Jacob separated the lambs, and as he had done with the peeled branches, he made the flocks face toward the streaked, and all the dark or black in the new flock of Laban, and he put his own herds apart by themselves and did not put them where they could breed with Laban's flock. Furthermore, whenever the stronger animals of the flock were breeding, Jacob would place the branches in the sight of the flock in the watering troughs so that they would mate and conceive among the branches. But when the flock was sickly, he did not put the branches there, so that the sicker animals were Laban's and the stronger were Jacob's. So Jacob became exceedingly prosperous and had large flocks of sheep and goats, and female and male servants, and camels and donkeys. Genesis 31. So Jacob heard that Laban's sons were saying, Jacob has taken away everything that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father he has acquired all this wealth and honor. Jacob noticed a change in the attitude of Laban and saw that it was not friendly toward him as before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your people, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field, and he said to them, I see a change in your father's attitude, that he is not friendly toward me as he was before, but the God of my father Isaac has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength, yet your father has cheated me as often as possible and changed my wages 10 times, but God did not allow him to hurt me. If he said that speckled shall be your wages, then the entire flock gave birth to speckled young, and if he said the streak shall be your wages, then the entire flock gave birth to streak young. Thus God has taken away the flocks of your father and given them to me, not me. And it happened at the time when the flock conceived that I looked up and saw in a dream that the rams which mated with the female goats were streaked and speckled and spotted. And the angel of God said to me in the dream, Jacob, and I said, here I am. He said, look up and see, all the rams which are mating with the flock are streaked, speckled, and spotted, for I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed the pillar and where you made a vow to me. Now stand up, leave this land, and return to the land of your birth. Rachel and Leah answered him, is there still any portion or inheritance for us in our father's house? Are we not counted by him as foreigners? For he sold us to you in marriage and has also entirely used up our purchase price. Surely all the riches which God has taken from our father are ours and our children's. Now then, whatever God has told you to do, do it. Then Jacob stood and took action and put his children and his wives on camels. And he drove away with all his livestock and took along all his property which he had acquired, the livestock he had obtained and accumulated in Paddan Aram, to go to his father Isaac in the land of Canaan. When Laban had gone to shear his sheep, Rachel went inside the house and stole her father's household gods. And Jacob deceived Laban, the Aramean or Syrian, by not telling him that he intended to leave, and he slipped away secretly. So he fled with everything that he had and got up and crossed the river, the Euphrates, and set his face toward the hill country of Gilead, east of the Jordan River. On the third day after his departure, Laban was told that Jacob had fled. So he took his relatives with him and pursued him for 7 days, and they overtook him in the hill country of Gilead. God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream and said to him, be careful that you do not speak to Jacob either good or bad. Then Laban overtook Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent on the hill, and Laban with his relatives camped on the same hill of Gilead. Then Laban said to Jacob, what do you mean by deceiving me and leaving without my knowledge and carrying off my daughters as if they were captives of the sword? Why did you run away secretly and deceive me and not tell me, so that otherwise I might have sent you away with joy and with songs and with music on the tambourine and lyre? And why did you not allow me to kiss my grandchildren and my daughters goodbye? Now you have done a foolish thing in behaving like this. It is in my power to harm you, but the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, be careful not to speak to Jacob either good or bad. Now I suppose you felt you must go because you were homesick for your father's house and family. But why did you steal my household gods? Jacob answered Laban, I left secretly because I was afraid, for I thought you would take your daughters away from me by force. The one with whom you find your gods shall not live. In the presence of our relatives, search my possessions and point out whatever you find that belongs to you and take it. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen the idols. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the 2 maids, but he did not find them. Then he came out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddlebag and sat on them. Laban searched through all her tent, but did not find them. So Rachel said to her father, "Do not be displeased, my lord, that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of women is on me, and I am unwell." He searched further, but did not find the household idols. Then Jacob became angry and argued with Laban, and he said to Laban, "What is my fault? What is my sin that you pursued me like this? Although you have searched through all my possessions, what have you found of your household gods? Put it here before my relatives and your relatives, so that they may decide who has done right between the two of us. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not lost their young, nor have I eaten the rams of your flocks. I did not bring you the torn carcasses of the animals attacked by predators. I personally took the loss. You required of me to make good everything that was stolen, whether it occurred by day or night. This was my situation. By day the heat consumed me, and by night the cold, and I could not sleep. These 20 years I have been in your house. I have served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for my share of your flocks, and you have changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the feared one of Isaac had not been with me, most certainly you would have sent me away now empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and humiliation and the exhausting labor of my hands, so he rendered judgment and rebuked you last night." Laban answered Jacob, "These women that you married are my daughters. These children are my grandchildren. These flocks are from my flocks, and all that you see here is mine. But what I can do today to these my daughters or to their children to whom they have given birth. So come now, let us make a covenant, you and I, and let it serve as a witness between you and me." So Jacob took a stone and set it up as a memorial pillar. Jacob said to his relatives, "Gather stones," and they took stones and made a mound of stones, and they ate a ceremonial meal together there on the mound of stones. Laban called it Jagar Sahudutha, stone monument of testimony in Aramaic, but Jacob called it Galeed. Laban said, "This mound of stones is a witness, a reminder of the oath taken today between you and me." Therefore, he also called the name Galeed, and Mizpah, watchtower. For Laban said, "May the Lord watch between you and me when we are absent from one another. If you should mistreat, humiliate, or oppress my daughters, or if you should take other wives besides my daughters, although no one is with us as a witness, see and remember, God is witness between you and me." Laban said to Jacob, "Look at this mound of stones, and look at this pillar which I have set up between you and me. This mound is a witness, and this pillar is a witness, that I will not pass by this mound to harm you, and that you will not pass by this mound and this pillar to harm me. The God of Abraham your father, and the God of Nahor my father, and the God, or the image of worship of their father Terah, an idolater, judge between us." But Jacob swore only by the one true God, for fear of his father Isaac. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice to the Lord on the mountain and called his relatives to the meal, and they ate food and spent the night on the mountain. Early in the morning, Laban got up, kissed his grandchildren and his daughters goodbye, and pronounced a blessing, asking God's favor on them. Then Laban left and returned home. Genesis 32. Then as Jacob went on his way, the angels of God met him to reassure and protect him. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." So he named that place Manaim, double camps. Then Jacob sent messengers ahead of him to his brother Esau in the land of Seir, the country of Edom. He commanded them, saying, "This is what you say to my lord Esau. Your servant Jacob says this: I have been living temporarily with Laban and have stayed there until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, male servants and female servants, and I have sent this message to tell my lord, so that I may find grace and kindness in your sight." The messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We went to your brother Esau, and now he is coming to meet you, and there are 400 men with him." Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people who were with him and the flocks and the herds and camels into 2 camps. And he said, "If Esau comes to the one camp and attacks it, then the other camp which is left will escape." Jacob said, "O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, the Lord who said to me, 'Return to your country and to your people, and I will make you prosper.' I am unworthy of all the loving kindness and compassion and of all the faithfulness which you have shown to your servant. With only my staff long ago I crossed over this Jordan, and now I have become blessed and increased to these 2 groups of people. Save me, please, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, that he will come and attack me and the mothers with the children. And you, Lord said, I will certainly make you prosper and make your descendants as numerous as the sands of the sea, which is too great to be counted. So Jacob spent the night there. Then he selected a present for his brother Esau from the livestock he had acquired: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, and 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 milking camels with their colts, 40 cows, 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys, and 10 donkey or colts. He put them up into the care of his servants, every herd by itself, and said to his servants, Go on ahead of me, and put an interval of space between the individual herds. Then he commanded the one in front, saying, When Esau my brother meets you and asks to whom you belong, and where are you going, and whose are the animals in front of you, then you shall say, They are your servants Jacob. They are your servant Jacob's. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and he also is behind us. And so Jacob commanded the second and the third as well, and all that followed the herd, saying, This is what you shall say to Esau when you meet him. And you shall say, Look, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said to himself, I will try to appease him with the gift that is going ahead of me. Then afterward I will see him. Perhaps he will accept and forgive me. So the gift of the herds of livestock went on ahead of him, and he himself spent that night back in the camp. But he got up that same night and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and waded over the ford of Jabbok. Then he took them and sent them across the brook, and he also sent across whatever he had. So Jacob was left alone, and a man came and wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he had not prevailed against Jacob, he touched his hip joint, and Jacob's hip was dislocated as he wrestled with him. Then he said, Let me go, for day is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you declare a blessing on me. So he asked him, What is your name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed. Then Jacob asked him, Please tell me your name. But he said, Why is it that you ask my name? And he declared a blessing of the covenant promises on Jacob there. So Jacob named the place Peniel, the face of God, saying, For I have seen God face to face, yet my life has not been snatched away. Now the sun rose on him as he passed Peniel, and he was limping because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the Israelites do not eat the tendon of the hip, which is on the socket of the thigh, because he touched the socket of Jacob's thigh by the tendon of the hip. Genesis 33. Then Jacob looked up and saw Esau coming with the 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah and Rachel and the 2 maids. He put the maids and their children in front, Leah and her children after them, and Rachel and Joseph last of all. Then Jacob crossed over the stream ahead of them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times, bowing and moving forward each time until he approached his brother. But Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and hugged his neck and kissed him, and they wept for joy. Esau looked up and saw the women and the children and said, Who are these with you? So Jacob replied, They are the children whom God has graciously given your servant. Then the maids approached with their children, and they bowed down. Leah also approached with her children, and they bowed down. Afterward, Joseph and Rachel approached, and they bowed down. Esau asked, What do you mean by all this company which I have met? And he answered, These are to find favor in the sight of my Lord. But Esau said, I have plenty, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself. Jacob replied, No, please. If now I have found favor in your sight, then accept my gift as a blessing from my hand, for I see your face as if I had seen the face of God, and you have received me favorably. Please accept my blessing or gift which has been brought to you, for God has dealt graciously with me, and I have everything that I could possibly want. So Jacob kept urging him, and Esau accepted it. Then Esau said, Let us get started on our journey, and I will go in front of you to lead the way. But Jacob replied, You know, my lord, that the children are frail and need gentle care, and the nursing flocks and herds with the young are of concern for me. For if the man should drive them hard for a single day, all the flocks will die. Please let my Lord go on ahead of his servant, and I will move on slowly, governed by the pace of the livestock that are in front of me, and according to the endurance of the children, until I come to my Lord in Seir or Edom. Then Esau said, Please let me leave with you some of the people who are with me. But Jacob said, What need is there for it? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord. So Esau turned back toward the south that day on his way to Seir. But Jacob journeyed north to Succoth and built himself a house and made shelters for his livestock. So the name of the place is Succoth, huts or shelters. When Jacob came from Paddan Aram, he arrived safely and in peace in the city of Shechem in the land of Canaan, and camped in front of the walled city. Then he bought the piece of land on which he had pitched his tents from the sons of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Then he erected an altar and called it El Elohe Israel, which means God, the mighty God of Israel. Genesis 34. I began so excited when I'm coming on to do the Bible reading. So I pray that y'all can feel that excitement like through the camera, and I pray that y'all are excited with me. Like I pray that I'm not on this island by myself. So let's jump on into our. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out unescorted to visit the girls of the land. When Shechem, Hamor the Hivite, prince or sheik of the land, saw her, he kidnapped her and lay intimately with her by force, humbling and offending her. But his soul longed for and clung to Dinah, daughter of Jacob, and he loved the girl and spoke comfortingly to her young heart's wishes. So Shechem said to his father Hamor, "Get me this young woman as a wife." Now Jacob heard that Shechem had defiled or violated Dinah his daughter, but his sons were in the field with his livestock. So Jacob said nothing until they came in. But Shechem's father Hamor went to Jacob to talk with him. Now when Jacob's sons heard of it, they came in from the field. They were deeply grieved, and they were very angry, for Shechem had done a disgraceful thing to Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, for such a thing is not to be done. But Hamor conferred with them, saying, "The soul of my son Shechem deeply longs for your daughter and sister. Please give her to him as his wife. And beyond that, intermarry with us. Give your daughters to us as wives, and take our daughters for yourselves. In this way you shall live with us. The country will be open to you. Live and do business in it, and acquire property and possessions in it." Shechem also said to Dinah's father and her brothers, "Let me find favor in your sight, and I will give you whatever you ask of me. Demand of me a very large bridal payment and gift as compensation for giving up your daughter and sister, and I will give you whatever you tell me. Only give me the girl to be my wife." Jacob's sons answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, because Shechem had defiled and disgraced their sister Dinah. They said to them, "We cannot do this thing and give our sister in marriage to one who is not circumcised, because that would be a disgrace to us. But we will consent to you only on this condition: if you will become like us, in that every male among you consents to be circumcised. Then we will give our daughters to you in marriage, and we will take your daughters for ourselves, and we will live with you and become one people. But if you do not listen to us and refuse to be circumcised, then we will take our daughter Dinah and go." Their words seemed reasonable to Hamor and to his son Shechem, and the young man did not hesitate to do the required thing, for he was delighted with Jacob's daughter. Now he was more respected and honored than all the others in his household of his father. Then Hamor and Shechem his son came to the gate of their walled city, where the leading men would meet, and spoke with the men of the city, saying, "These men are peaceful and friendly with us, so let them live in the land and do business in it. For the land is large enough for us and for them. Let us take their daughters for wives, and let us give them our daughters in marriage. But only on this one condition will the men consent to our request, that they live among us and become one people, that every male among us become circumcised just as they are circumcised. Will not their cattle and their possessions and all their animals be ours if we do this? Let us consent to do as they ask, and they will live here with us." And every Canaanite man who went out of the city gate listened and considered what Hamor and Shechem said, and every male who was a resident of that city was circumcised. Now on the third day after the circumcision, when all the men were terribly sore and in pain, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's full brothers, took their swords, boldly entered the city without anyone suspecting them of evil intent, and they killed every male. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house where she was staying, and left. Then Jacob's other sons came upon those who were killed and looted the town, because their sister had been defiled and disgraced. They took the Canaanites' flocks and their herds and their donkeys and whatever was in the city and in the field. They looted all their wealth and took captive all their children and their wives, even everything that was in the houses. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have ruined me, making me a stench to the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. My men are few in number, and the men of the land will band together against me and attack me. I shall be destroyed, I and my household." But they said, "Should he be permitted to treat our sister as a prostitute?" So that was the end of chapter 34. A lot went on. Genesis 35. Then God said to Jacob, "Go up to Bethel and live there, and make an altar there to God, who appeared to you in a distinct manifestation when you fled years ago from Esau your brother." Then Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, "Get rid of the idols and images of foreign gods that are among you, and ceremonially purify yourselves and change into fresh clothes. Then let us get up and go to Bethel, and I will make an altar there to God, who answered me in the day of my distress and has been with me wherever I have gone." So they gave Jacob all the idols and images of the foreign gods that they had, the rings that foreign gods they had, and the rings which were in their ears, worn as charms against evil, and Jacob buried them under the oak tree near Shechem. As they journeyed, there was a great supernatural terror sent from God on the cities around them, and for that reason the Canaanites did not pursue the sons of Jacob. So Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were there with him. There he built an altar to worship the Lord, and called the place El Bethel, or God of the house of God, because there God had revealed himself to him when he escaped from his brother. Now Deborah, who was once Rebekah's nurse, died and was buried below Bethel under the oak, and the name of it was called Alon Bakut, or Oak of Weeping. Then God, in a visible manifestation, appeared to Jacob again when he came out of Paddan Aram, and declared a blessing on him. Again God said to him, "Your name is Jacob. You shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name." So he was called Israel. And God said to him, "I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall be born of your loins. The land which I gave Abraham and Isaac I will give to you, and to your descendants after you I will give the land." Then God ascended from Jacob in the place where he had spoken with him. Jacob set up a pillar, a memorial, or a monument in the place where he had talked with God, a pillar of stone, and he poured a drink offering of wine on it. He also poured oil on it to declare it sacred for God's purpose. So Jacob named the place where God had spoken with him Bethel, or the house of God. Then they journeyed from Bethel, and where there was still some distance to go to Ephrath, or Bethlehem, Rachel began to give birth and had difficulty and suffered severely. When she was in hard labor, the midwife said to her, "Do not be afraid, you now have another son." And as her soul was departing, for she died, she named him Ben-Oni, son of my sorrow. But his father called him Benjamin, or son of the right hand. Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Jacob set a pillar, memorial, or monument on her grave, that is the pillar of Rachel's grave to this day. Then Israel, Jacob journeyed on and pitched his tent on the other side of the Tower of Eder, the lookout point which was used by shepherds. While Israel was living in that land, Reuben, his eldest son, went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard about it. Now Jacob had 12 sons. The sons of Leah: Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, then Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. And the sons of Rachel: Joseph and Benjamin. And the sons of Bilhah: Rachel's maid, Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah: Leah's maid, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob, born to him in Paddan Aram. Jacob came to Isaac his father at Mamre of Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had lived temporarily. Now the days of Isaac were 180 years. Isaac's spirit departed, and he died and was gathered to his people who had preceded him in death. An old man full of days, satisfied or fulfilled. His sons Esau and Jacob buried him in the cave of Machpelah with his parents Abraham and Sarah. So yeah. Genesis 36. Now this is the history of descendants of Esau, that is Edom. Esau took his wives from the women of Canaan: Adah, daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, the son of Zibeon the Hivite, and Basemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebaioth. Adah bore to Esau Eliphaz, Basemath bore Ruel, and Oholibamah bore Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau born to him in Canaan. Now Esau took his wives, his sons, his daughters, and all the members of his household, his cattle, all his beasts, and all his possessions, which he had obtained in the land of Canaan, and he went into a land away from his brother Jacob. For their great flocks and herds and possessions which they had collected made it impossible for them to dwell together. The land in which they were strangers could not support them because of their livestock. So Esau dwelt in the hill country of Seir. Esau is Edom. And this is the history of the descendants of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in the hill country of Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, Esau's wife, and Reuel, the son of Basemath, Esau's wife. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenaz. And Timnah was a concubine of Eliphaz, so Esau's son, and she bore Amalek to Eliphaz. These are the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Reuel: Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These are the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, the son of Zibeon, Esau's wife. She bore to Esau Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the chiefs of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn of Esau. Chiefs Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Kenaz. Korah, Gatam, and Amalek. These are the chiefs of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. They are the sons of Adah. These are the sons of Reuel, Esau's son. Chiefs Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, Mizah. These are the chiefs of Reuel in the land of Edom. They are the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Oholibamah, Esau's wife. Chiefs Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. These are the chiefs born of Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, that is, Edom, and these are their chiefs. These are the sons of Seir the Horite, the inhabitants of the land: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, and Anah. Dishon, Ezer, and Dishon. These are the chiefs of the Horites, the sons of Seir in the land of Edom. The sons of Lotan are Hori and Hemam, and Lotan's sister is Timnah. The sons of Shobal are these: Alvan, Manhath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. These are the sons of Zibeon, Aya, and Anah. This is the Anah who was found in the hot springs in the wilderness as he pastured the donkeys of Zibeon his father. The children of Anah are these: Dishon and Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Dishon: Hemdan, Eshvan, Ithran, and Cheran. Ezer's sons are these: Bilhan, Zabon, and Achan. The sons of Dishon are these: Uz and Aaron. The Horite chiefs are these: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah. Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. These are the Horite chiefs according to their clans in the land of Seir. And these are the kings who reigned in Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. Now Bela died, and Jobab, son of Zerah, and Basra reigned in his stead. Then Jobab died, and Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his stead. And Husham died, and Hadad, son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in the country of Moab, reigned in his stead. The name of his enclosed city was Abid. Hadad died, and Samlah of Masrekah succeeded him. Then Samlah died, and Shaul of Rehoboth on the river Euphrates reigned in his stead. And Shaul died, and Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, reigned in his stead. Baal-Hanan, son of Akbor, died, and then Hadar reigned. His enclosed city was Pau. His wife's name was Mehatabel, daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. And these are the names of the chiefs of Esau according to their families and places of residence by their names: chiefs Timnah, Alba, Jahath, Oholibamah, Elah, Pinon, Kenaz, Timon, Mibzar, Magdal, and Iram. These are the chiefs of Edom, that is, of Esau, the father of the Edomites, according to their dwelling places in their land.
Ephesians 4 verses 1 to 6.
So I, the prisoner for the Lord, appeal to you to live a life worthy of the calling to which you have been called. That is, to live a life that exhibits godly character, moral courage, personal integrity, and mature behavior. A life that expresses gratitude to God for your salvation. With all humility, forsaking self-righteousness and gentleness, maintaining self-control, with patience, bearing with one another in unselfish love. Make every effort to keep the oneness of the Spirit in the bond of peace, each individual working together to make the whole successful. There is one body of believers and one Spirit, just as you were called to one hope and called to salvation. One Lord, one faith, one baptism. One God and Father of us all, who is sovereign over all and working through all and living in all.